Hello, 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 everyone. Happy Wednesday. Where did the comments go? Hold on. There we go. It's been a doozy of a morning already, but we are here to talk about the markets. How is everyone doing? Good morning, Sterling. I gotta sort through this to find the correct order. Good morning, Patrick. Sterling, thank you for putting in news and earnings. What else we have? Good morning, Royal Palms. Good morning, Ted. Good morning, Andrea. How are you today? Can we check out D today? Sure. That would make this D Day. Uh, Thank you. Hit the like. We had the ADP numbers come out. We'll take a look at that in a second. I gotta see who else is in here. Hey, Jacob, how are you doing today? All right. There we go. Good morning, Jacob. There we go. Just got to sort through everything. All right, we did have some earnings. We'll get to that in a bit. Thank you for putting in that and the news. What was that about Powell? I was scrolling by. What was that? Did you put Powell may avoid explicit policy decision guidance? Fed Chair Jerome Powell. Yes, he does speak this afternoon. So that's going to be very, very key. Very key. Hey, Eric, how are you doing? Can't remember who said in the chat, but the best quote of the year: "Buy naked calls and two to sleep." Okay, I'm confused. Good morning, Heinrich. Good morning, Daniel. All right. So now, where we sit here, we have the mortgage rate kind of coming out, the dropping a bit, but it's going to start going back up with the 10-year again. Good morning, Tony. Hello, Charles. What else? We have the ADP numbers. I don't put much into them, but they came out lower than consensus and lower than previous. Can we be done with the Fed? They literally don't say anything. Time may be approaching to slow or pause interest rates cuts. Or, you know what? You're giving all this vague information. Why do you need to say this stuff? Why do we literally need 12 clowns running around talking about this and they don't know? They're all over the place with what they think the neutral rate is. I mean, it was pretty dovish yesterday to speak. They have no clue. You got services still, inflation still very, very sticky. Wages could be picking up again based on that was the interesting thing from the ADP numbers. So, and you're still, why are they in such a rush to cut? Because they're trying to stick some mysterious soft landing. It's going to be real interesting on Friday. It's going to be real interesting on Friday with these unemployment numbers because if they come in decent, then and they still cut with inflation being very, very sticky, then what's there going to be their excuse? I don't know. Doesn't matter what I think though. What are my thoughts on Brazil? I mean, it's not. At some point again, it'll be good investment. It's not right now. It's important to keep monetary policy options open amid uncertainty. Okay. These people are paid to do this. It's possible to pause on cuts at upcoming Fed meetings. Yes, it is. Of course, it's possible for you to pause. Oh boy. And inflation's not really, it's stuck well above 2%. Well above 2%. All right, let's get through the rest of this stuff. I'm getting sidetracked. Global composites and services numbers come out in a little bit at 9:45 Eastern. Then we have the ISM, the bigger firms, ISM services. Really pay attention in ISM services to the employment and the prices. Remember, the prior price is 58.1. That's still expanding pretty decently. So, and really watch this. If employment's still strong and the services come out, prices still are strong. Again, just reinforces sticky services inflation. Then we got the EIA numbers, and then of course we got Jay Powell speaking at 1:45 Eastern time, and then we have the Fed Beige Book. But we'll see what Powell does say in relationship to uh, you know, gives any more guidance. Remember, we still have a little more Fed speak, I think, coming up on Friday. Yes, on Friday after the unemployment numbers, and then we get into the quiet period. Remember, we're 2 weeks away, and starting, I think it is technically Saturday, the quiet period starts. So then anything that will have to come out will have to be leaked through Nick Timmeros, of course. So why even bother having a quiet period? Because they're leaking anyways. And the markets at this point still is climbing. We could refresh this again, but it's climbing. It's back up to 76%. So the market getting more solidly in line with they're gonna still cut. Well, if inflation really comes roaring back or stays stuck, it doesn't have to come roaring back. I should say stuck where it is now. That's going to really start hurting. All right, the map, it's CRM. Somebody putting that was a beat on revenue, miss on EPS. I did not think it was that strong an earnings report given where they already sit. But it's getting bought like no tomorrow, up 11%. Again, tech is getting bought up. Valuations don't matter. CRM was already trading 58 times earnings. Now, earnings came in better than expected, but not to warrant a 58 times PE and to then bid it up even more. No, we're in the mania phase of this market that can keep going. And have you looked at the volume? Have you looked at the volume? Hey, good. Coco, where you've been? Where you been? Coco's back. Coco, we missed you. Technology leading the charge higher than consumer cyclical, but nothing really that negative this morning. I mean, you have consumer defensive and real estate, but everything's pouring into technology today. Buy it all. It's still in greed mode. Schiller PE 38.63. Very, very expensive market. All right, Sterling put in all this. Dollar Tree, by the way, Dollar Tree was a beat. Why I'm bringing up Dollar Tree, it was a beat. Okay. Pay attention to this. This is on a weekly chart. Yeah, it's still barely against the rotation zone, but if we start getting the close on a weekly basis above 76.98, this could run for a bit, triggering a double bottom. So pay attention to that. I don't know if it's going to do it right now. I don't know if it has the base here with weekly cycles at the top after earnings. We'll see what it does today, but I need a follow-through weekly close since it's a weekly formation at this point, and I need a weekly close above that point, and it is against the rotation zone. Just wanted to get that out of the way real quick. The market, I mentioned the volume. I mean, look at this volume on this slowly grind. It's like we're still trading the holidays. We've never come back. Volume picked up a little, but not much. We're not even trading over 1 million shares. I mean, what was yesterday? We're at 937K, 926K. We're not even, this is pathetic volume, and this is just grinding higher on very thin volume. So, gonna get very interesting. We're sort of a wedge within a wedge. We're sort of wedging higher. We don't even have a bottom key anchor point, but this is what I'm looking at, this little wedge pattern. Now, this can definitely keep going. That's the pattern I'm going to be looking at. Still, there's no short pattern in sight yet. Nothing in sight. So, again, 6094 to 6100, and then we have right around 6121 and 6135 are the key target areas I'm using higher. Key support now coming back at the prior breakout level with the little red pausing bar the day before Thanksgiving and the rising rotation zone. So we're still looking about 6,045 to 6,050 as a major support. The minor support levels on any pullback, I'd be watching the 4-hour rotation zone, but the more minor support level is 60-65. So again, I keep losing. I'm losing my comp. Hey, Richard, how you doing? Your target's still the same. Thank you for clarifying. 24K. Is Coco a contradictory indicator? Daniel's looking at the Dollar General. Also looking at Dollar General. We have there's your NAS. Hit the 21,460 next cluster area. Next area beyond that is 21,580. So that's where we sit there. The major support is back at 21,250. The minor support, again, this just keeps grinding higher. Minor support for me is about 21,350. The Dow, just a sideways base, little pullback yesterday to a rotation zone, but now trying to break out higher. We're against the key cluster, but if it does break out, and the area would be about 45,200 and 45,335. Russell, pull back into the daily rotation zone. Going to be watching this one starting tomorrow. More so, starting tomorrow. With cycles getting to potential bottom, and we could have a percent beat buy and a rotation zone buy. It would be aggressive to do it today. Unless we really start selling above 24.33, I'd rather sit on my hands and wait. VIX, no fear, back down to 13. There is just no fear at all. It's just everything's so complacent. DAX just keeps grinding higher, closing in on the next 20,431 target. This is notes are rolling over. We could be getting a double cross pattern, which means it's just a correction to the rotation zone on the weekly. So you see corrected to the rotation zone. When I talk about double cross, when I see a first cross and then immediately we recross back lower, that just means that it was the correction on the higher time frame. And I'll then look for potentially the notes to come back down to 109.20. Going to be really curious to see how this closes after Powell's speech. That's what's really going to be interesting to see where this closes, and watching the yields pop, which could be the double cross pattern with the correction back to the weekly rotation zone, taking it out of very overbought and cycles still getting closer to the bottom, with daily cycles now turning up. So on any buys, watching, we had these twin tops right there above this 2.42. We broke above that. Now I need this to follow through with a close over the next few days of a 4.34 in the yields, but it's all going to be dependent on if what Powell goes. And also pay attention to those ISM numbers, because if prices come out hot, then this could continue to climb. What? UNH CEO Brian Thompson shot and killed in Manhattan, in Midtown Manhattan? Well, that's wow. Fed's barking on CNBC. We can't ignore the October jobs report, and also inflation is still above 2%. It's well above 2%. What happened to their adjusted average? It's you know what? If you're going to average this out, it should be running below 2% for a while to get an average of 2%. Is 2% now the floor, which really means that if you're going to keep it running above 2%, you actually don't want to even go to 1.9? Is this going to be a floor? Because then your average is well above 2%. Clown show. Dollar index. Also climbing back up. Really nice. Working off that major overbought. We still have cycles headed down, but this is starting on the weekly, but cycles heading up on the daily. Any buys now have to follow through above 106.80 area. 106.80. But I watch dollar strength is coming back up with rising yields again. Crude, we had the percent beat buy yesterday. Little follow through again. The key target, it's going to depend also on the EIA numbers, but the key targets is 71 to 71.40 area for that. But I would from my perspective, be keeping a tighter stop on it with the EIA numbers coming out. Because we are in consolidation. Natty gas on the continuous chart triggered the double. So we're going to have to see if we get the continued pullback. So I would not be aggressively overly bullish just yet from my perspective. Going to be seeing, though, if this can actually get back to this 285 area. Gold, absolutely nothing to talk about. Absolutely nothing to talk about. Copper triggered the double and went to the first target yesterday. So again, this would be a short-term little bounce, not a long-term position. I'm going to be watching for the next rollover play. I still have a magnet price over the next possible couple months back down to the 373 area. We talked about that on the Futures Edge recording, which we did yesterday, which will be dropping hopefully early next week. I wish it could drop sooner, but I'm not in charge of editing. I'm not actually in charge of anything on that show. I'm just a guest. Here we go. We had a potential percent beat buy setup. It has to fall through with the close now above this, but nice little pullback with the doji bar yesterday with cycle bottoms in oversold condition. So now I'm going to be watching to see what kind of follow through we get. Already hit the rotation zone, but this could also be the bigger pullback after a strong run and then more into the yen weakening with the dollar trying to take some charge again. Euro, still looking for this to roll over. It's going to be real interesting to see if this can close back below 104.31. I'm expecting it to, but I need confirmation. Other than that, there's no fantastic pattern just yet besides rolling over rallies after the return to the rotation zone. Spiders hitting the 604.20 area. And I don't even have a good, see, that's taking the potential double top off the table. We're not even getting pausing bars. This is what's so, I mean, we're getting very weak pausing bars. So I'm just going to look to see if 605.08, but I'm going to take this now to the next key flat area. Should this keep running? Because that will give me 611, and I want to see where the next little minor area here is. To see what the cluster area is. So again, that comes back to that 604.20 area, which would have been reinforced on this other harmonic. And then we have 608.24. So that's the next minor level I would use. The key support, if it keeps getting that high. Key support back at 600. The Qs still closing in at the 518.22, and then you have 520.85. The support level is actually now at 515.45, the minor support level. Bitcoin still has a potential double top, but it has not been able to close below the rotation zone yet, so that's the first thing I'll be watching. What else do we have? All right. Reminder, what was I supposed to, let's look at Dollar General, then what else was I supposed to look at? Dollar General. Was that a double? No, 72.21, 72.12. So this did not qualify for a double. So it cannot be traded as a double. So I got to look at this and against the weekly rotation zone. Not any great setup from my perspective on going into earnings of Dollar General. What else? What was the other one I needed to look at? Please remind me. I need to scroll back through. Oh, it's D-Day. D1D. Dominion Energy. Dominion Energy. Pay attention to this one. That is a head and shoulders, potential head and shoulders top. We're going to use the modified neckline. The flat modified neckline right around there. So, and this is on the weekly basis. It is not triggered yet, but I would pay attention to this. Oops, wrong one. Pay attention to this one because now what does that look like on the daily? You got the 200 in the way. You got a little key support zone. I would not ignore. This would be one I would, if it does break down, if I was going to do anything from the short side, I'd be lowering my stop quicker. I'd be looking at this 54 area as the first target area. So right there, and then you also have the 50 and the prior breakout zone in there. That would be, but this is looking very toppy. In order for me to be anything short-term bullish, it would have to form. It would have to come down here and find the support, and then I'd be looking for potential. If this does not trigger this head and shoulders, I'd be looking for buy setups down here towards that 56, 55, 50 to 56 area. If it did trigger the double, it'd be hands off, or the head and shoulders would be hands off until it pulled back to at least that first target area. Hey, good afternoon, Anissa. There you go, Royal Palms. Coco, Bitcoin will not top until what? What's March 2025? Why March 2025? I'm just asking. So far, this is trading at a dirt cheap 134. There's the mad rush. I mean, so much of tech is just going vertical, buying obscene valuations. But can it? It'll continue till it doesn't. Coco, I wouldn't even trade this with your money at this point. So I'm just seeing if there's any short-term. I'd be paying very close to that 1530 area. 1530, you start closing below there, I'd be watching for this thing to peter out. Still massively overbought. Let's take a look at that weekly. Jeez. And this thing could return to 14 in a heartbeat without doing massive technical damage. Look how overbought this thing is. I don't know what's going to be the catalyst for some of these things to roll over yet. So if it does continue, the most recent harmonics would be to 1750 for the full target. The minor target would be 1706. Could just the cycles, Coco? Okay. Could I do long and short term on well, the long term? Wow, let me get. If you want the real long term, you're looking there. If you want the short term, if I could draw it to the right spot, you're looking right there. So that's exactly the way I do it. Well, it is the way I just did it. It's right there. So you're looking at the key cluster area 72.28 to 73.51. And then your next major target would be 81. So that's, geez, 336 PE. And wow. And their earnings, their revenue jumped from 78 to 725. So it's growing, but again, 336 PE. There you go, Sterling. That's what I would do. What else do we have? We have Tesla, not doing much. Still, you got the magnet price up here right around this 375. Nvidia, not much follow through after the percent beat buy on Monday. Still watching this thing. If you're trying to remain bullish on Nvidia in the short term, just buy this follow through buy has to get back above 145. So CRM, let's see. I just want to see where this officially. Oh, all right. Remember the harmonic we drew yesterday? There you go. Pretty much a gap open to it. Remember how we structured that? I took off the double because, again, we were gapping up with the after hours. It wasn't validated. It was never triggered. Holding the rotation zone, and now the gap up straight to the next harmonic. That's why you can use these things. Remember, we talked about it yesterday to structure potential trades, especially options trades going into stuff. Doesn't mean it has to stop here all day, but that's a great area because if you're looking for a potential area for an opening range, you had some shot. I mean, it's way stronger than pulling a number out your butt. So that's why I use those things right there. If it continues to march higher, it's 383. But let's see. I mean, this is just earnings were not that impressive. Yes, revenue did grow, but it was not that impressive. I'm just amazed at the amount of things pouring in here. Needham announced that they see Roku being bought at premium within the next 12 months. You see, I haven't looked at Roku in a while. Where's this thing? Oh boy. Of course, it still doesn't have a P to E because they have no earnings. I mean, what's a... Did that actually return to the full? Yes, it did. It returned to the full, did the round trip. The round trip to the 87.5. Boy, that would just be a pure gamble play. And what does a premium mean? It's still trading at a premium. Wow. The market's just, the market does not care anything about valuations at all anymore. It's turned into a casino market. All right, let's take a look at the S&P on the open. Let's take a look at the little S&P. So based off the opening and pre-open, you're looking at very key support at 60.80. Still holding. It's been grinding the 15-minute rotation zone, so that's the only thing. Closed right at it. But if we start, the only thing that would make me take a pause from the bullish side is if we start closing below the 15-minute rotation zone. The tick, where'd this thing open today? Pretty flat opening. Slight negative, pretty flat. So this could be running out of a bit of steam going into the open, so I need to see how it's going to react at that 60.85 area. All right. Thank you for tuning in. What is it, Wednesday already? Remember, see, inflation's going away. The 2% price increase nationwide. Well, there's your 2% inflation. Oh, boy. This is going to end very badly, but who knows when that's going to happen. By the way, remember tomorrow morning, you still have your initial and continuing jobless claims, and so that's the only thing coming out tomorrow. It's going to be more important what JPAL says today, but then this is going to sort of set the stage for Friday being non-farm payrolls. So the big things are this afternoon, and then really again on Friday with the unemployment numbers and also your preliminary consumer sentiment and inflation expectations. All right, with that, I will talk to everyone later. Thank you for tuning in. Bye for now.